Truly a sight to behold. The man beat the once great champ, now a study in moppishness. No longer the victory-hungry stallion we've raced so many times before, but a pathetic, washed-up, aged ex-champion.
All right, let's go.
I think you know the guy. And I think you know him pretty damn well. His name is
Izzy Presley.
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 What's my name? Say my name, bitch!
My good friend, Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley. Ouch!
Izzy Presley. Whoa, that sounds a little weird.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley, the heaviest, girthiest rock DJ around.
Hey, this is Jeff LaBar. You listen to Izzy Presley. Those aren't pillows.
We have heard of Van Halen. Hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. The program is called Another Effing Podcast. I'm your host, Izzy Presley. I know it's been a while, and I'm sorry. I've been busy. I've had shit to do. I've got bills to pay. But I'm here. I'm back. Nothing has changed other than my glorious beard. It is good to see everybody, and I have a great show for you today. Vinnie Tortorich returns. His movie is called Dirty Keto, and it is available on Amazon right now. You see, it's been a while. I can't even talk right now. You know what could fix that, ladies and gentlemen? The words of my close personal friend, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Crack one for the working man. Oh, yeah. God damn, do I love beer, and I love you guys. You guys. Oh, there it is. And it is good to see you. Lots of shit going on. Lots of shit has happened. Obviously, the Axe show, May 25th, already happened, considering it's August 13th. But that was great. Todd Howarth Slade, the band Slade. It was great. It was awesome. Had a blast. Even got praise from the almighty Eddie Trunk. I played guitar in front of Jakey Lee. Out of tune. So that was awesome. But no, it was great. It was a great show. It's been a great couple months. I've just, I nose to the grind. I haven't had a lot of time to do this, but I think it should free up a little bit, and we can get back to a little regular scheduled programming here on Another Effing Podcast, and you can look at me more, because I know you love to do that. Coming up not this weekend, but the following weekend, the Mountain Music Festival is going to be a glorious time. Tickets are still available up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It is Friday the 22nd, Friday the 23rd, Saturday the 24th, Sunday the 25th. I get in Friday morning. So any pre-parties that are happening the night before that you guys are doing, I shall not be there, but I will be there bright and early on Friday morning and ready to kick it off. Of course, Night Ranger, Tesla, Jackal, the Stoney Curtis Band, which you guys will love because Stoney Curtis is awesome. You guys are going to have a blast. And if you just want to go for a day, you can do that. Single tickets are available. And that website will be right down here in the comment description place gimmick. So check that out. And we are doing punchlines and backlines there. Courtney Cronin, Don Jameson, Jim Florentine, myself, Hal Sparks just got added to the show because they are playing that day. And I mean, Nerd Halen and Mike Dawson. Did I say Mike Dawson already? Mike Dawson. That's right. He's never done the show that, because he's never on the boat, but He's in Gatlinburg. We're going to do punchlines and backlines, and our special guest musician who's never done stand-up comedy ever before, her name is Britt Lightning. Of course, Brittany from Vixen. So that should be glorious. It is going to be a great, great weekend. So if you do make it out to Gatlinburg, please come up and say hi, and do not buy me shots. I got work to do. It's like work, but it's fun work and work that I love, and I love doing it. So what else do we got, kids? What is going on? Oh my God. Look, it's Vegas. It's Vegas. There's just so much shit constantly going on. Like this Friday night. You know what? Last Friday night. Let's talk about last Friday night. I was lucky enough. My good friend Carrie Trim, that's not her last name. I just call her Trim. Had an extra ticket to the Sammy Hagar show at MGM. And of course, this is the Best of All Worlds tour that is going on right now with Michael Anthony and Jason Bonham and Joe Satriani. And it's basically a Van Halen set. And there's a couple other gems thrown in there that are not Van Halen, but it is amazing. It is so goddamn good. All the reports, all the reviews that you've heard, they are not bullshit. Folks, this set list, especially if you are a Van Hagar era Van Halen fan, like I am, I love them both. It's apples and oranges. It's two different bands. It's not Van Halen without Dave. They're both fucking awesome. But like I said, it's apples and oranges. It's different stuff, but that's okay. You can love them both. It's all right. So heavy on Sammy's era, a lot of great stuff, especially off 5150, which is a record that I absolutely love. The fact that they're doing the song 5150 is fucking ace. Oh, it's ace. I proclaim, it's ace. It's money. It's phenomenal. Satriani's great. Jason Bonham's great. Dude, this show's fucking awesome. If it is coming to your town, run, do not walk to your ticket office and check that out. I don't know even what can I say about it that has not been said. I'm not going to bore you with all the shit that I've been doing. So you don't care. You want to get to the money shot. You want to get to the interview, and that's fine. We'll get there in a second, folks. I'm a little riled up because I have not done this since May. And I miss this. I miss you. Grocery store gal misses you. The some bitch misses you. Give me a goddamn beer. Settle down, some bitch. Goddamn pussy. I'll drink a fucking beer in front of you. Ugh. So yeah. I'm not gonna bore you with the rest of the shit. Whatever. You guys like the show? You guys know what to do. Venmo, Real Izzy Presley. Cash App, $ Izzy Presley. PayPal, Izzy Presley at yahoo.com. All that kind of good shit. So I'm going to be working on some stuff to get back in the fold here, and we'll get rolling on the show once again. And make sure you do check out all of the links that are down below in the description here. You know, the beater amplification. Do we need to do it? 100 watts of testicular port fortitude, pull 2 tubes. You have a 350 or you have a 50. 3 channels of gloriousness, hand-wired, hand-built, just beautiful. You see it right behind me. And of course, that beautiful vintage USA Telecaster. Check them out as well. Just check out all the links. Support everybody that supports me. Because that's how this works. That's how this works, kids. And say hi to Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Yes, she's excited as well. So Vinnie Tortorich is coming up here in a second. Yes, obviously this is not live anymore, which sucks. I tried to get a live feed, and I didn't like the platform. So I said, screw it. I'm not going to pay for shit that is not worth it. So I can just upload the podcast to Spreaker, and it goes to everywhere that you guys get your podcasts. And it's free. Why not save the money? And I figured, well, I'm paying for the goddamn Zoom. Might as well get the show rolling again. So this is where we're at. Vinnie Tortorich has a brand new movie called Dirty Keto. And obviously, we pre-recorded the movie. He's not here with me right now. That means that we just got done with the interview, but you figured that out because you can use your math. We talk about the movie. We talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about keto and why it is not a diet. We talk about how when you see keto on something in the store, it's not keto. We talk about how they hide all the shit in there that keeps you fat. We talk about the Ozempic farce. Yes. He could do a whole movie on that. He talks about that in this interview. And it's always great to hear from him. And of course, his wife, Serena Scott Thomas, has debuted on my stories. Yes, she is now playing Fiona. Yes, she is Fiona. She is Fiona on Days of Our Lives, playing Zander Cook's mother. So we get into a little Days of Our Lives talk, folks. Gotta love my stories. And it's great to talk to Vinny. He's always entertaining. And check out his other movies, Fat, a documentary, Fat 2, and Beyond Impossible, which dives into, it was the last time he was on the show when that movie came out, dives into the farce of Impossible Burgers and why they're horrible for you. And you just go watch them. You can find them all on like Tubi. Except for Dirty Keto, because it just came out. You can only get that on Amazon. So, folks, without further ado, I bring you. Hold on, I'm gonna bring you to Vinnie Tortorich like this. I'm gonna have a Wayne's World moment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever see the finished product of this show, Vinny, you will you will see that joke that starts out right before I go into this. Welcome back. And it is good to be back, and it's good to be back with one of my favorite guests, and his name is Vinnie Tortorich. You know, the podcast is Fitness Confidential. Of course, that is the book as well, and the brand new movie, which is called Keto. What the fuck is the movie called?
Dirty Keto.
Keto. Thank you. Sorry, I was having a fucking brain fart. I don't know why, and I'll tell you why. Because there's something very important on my mind. I am very disappointed in your wife, Vinny.
Oh boy, what does she do now?
She got drunk and she ran over with her car her brand new daughter-in-law.
Okay. Would you believe that right before I came on, like I was uploading my last podcast and I turned it on. I didn't know that it would be in this episode. I know what's going to happen ahead of time because she told me as things happened when she was taping them all. And I knew it was coming up. I just didn't know when. But yeah, I just turned that off with her hitting the her daughter-in-law who just got married like 5 minutes earlier.
Yep.
Are you a guy? Do you like
Vinny? I have been watching Days of Our Lives since I was in 5th grade.
Really?
Yeah, I've been watching Days of Our Lives that long. There was a few years where I didn't, then I got sucked back in, and it's like, all right, it's on. It's on. Yeah. I mean, I used to tape it. You know, I used to plan my day around being home at 1 o'clock so I could watch Days of Our Lives. And it really pissed me off, Vinny. Like, that was the one thing that pissed me off the most about the pandemic is they always had the goddamn press conferences at 1 o'clock California time, and it preempted Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, we didn't have press conferences where we were. Was that a daily thing for you guys?
Oh, it was the national press conference.
Oh, so, you see, I didn't watch any of it. I was living the pandemic. I wasn't going to certainly go watch it on television, you know.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pay attention to it, but every day it got preempted, I got pissed.
I'm sorry that that happened to you, man. That's terrible.
I
Yeah.
know. I know. Are you watching it daily now? I mean, are you into it? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying Days of Our Lives, Vinny? This is the important shit people want to know.
Well, I am. I'm watching it for the first time in my life.
Uh-huh.
So before she started coming on, I knew when she was coming on. So about a week ahead of time, I started watching. And it's amazing. I'd never seen a soap opera ever, and I was able to pick up and know what was going on to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And maybe you can tell me this. Has it always been like that where sometimes they'll do a couple of 2 or 3 stories and they'll run with that for 2 or 3 days, and then it's almost like those people don't exist anymore, and they'll pick up 2 or 3 other stories and run those for 2 or 3 days and go back. And it's amazing how your brain just remembers the other stories and you go right into them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what they've been doing for years.
Yeah. So for me, after I kind of got into it, what I do is I'll go with fast forward. And if my wife is not in it, I just, blow through. And if I see that she's in it, I'll stop and watch all of her scenes. And, but I did watch a scene or two today that she wasn't in because it was like, oh, that's Zander and Zander's wife
Yes.
might be talking about something that Serena's going to do. What's my wife's name? Fiona's going to do.
Fiona
In the
Cook.
show. Yeah. So I did watch a couple of auxiliary scenes today, but is that wrong that I'm doing that? I'm plowing through just to find.
Yeah, you
my wife?
shouldn't be catching up on all the parts of the stories in the stories.
Okay.
There's just a lot of shit going on. It's like,
I
is that
know.
actually going to be Abigail? She's been dead for how many years? There's big shit going on right now, Vinny. This is a good time to get into it. So I'm happy that you're loving it.
Well, hang on. You mentioned Abigail was coming back and she was dead. Okay. Like I don't even know that story, but my I'm gonna call her my wife. Her name is Fiona. So in like the second show when she's sleeping with the other guy,
Mhm.
and then her son comes to the door of the hotel and she goes, quickly, you have to leave, jump out of the window. And he was like, we're on the 3rd floor. And she goes, but you're fit. It's like, yeah, you can be as fit as you want to be. Jumping out of a 3rd floor window is not the best idea. The things they say on that show is pretty amazing, right?
Oh, it's just ridiculous, and that's part of the beauty of it. But if you would have watched the scene after that when he's limping through the park, it's like, yeah, maybe he twisted his ankle a little bit. It wasn't a perfect landing.
He limped a little bit and he had like one leaf in his hair and it was like, wow, if I knew I could jump out of a 3rd-story window and just get a leaf and a limp, I'd do it all the time.
Oh man, I could sit and talk Days of Our Lives all day long, but Dirty Keto is the movie, and it is finally available on Amazon, correct?
It is. And it took Amazon exactly 65 days after the release date to actually release it. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Um, and you're doing something right. You're pissing off, or as I like to say, I'm pissing in someone's cornflakes because they would not even tell us, it's supposed to be released on May 30th. And it just came out like a week or two ago.
Mhm.
And we kept writing to them daily and calling them going, hey, it was supposed to be released. What's going on? Crickets, just crickets. And we just kept asking day in and day out. And then finally, about 2 weeks before they released it, they wrote to us and said, hey, we will agree to release this if you will sign a statement saying that you are willing to let it be released as a PG-13. And I didn't even ask why. I just said, okay, yes, do that, because no one under 13 is going to watch this documentary anyway. But, I'm going to name drop here. I was doing Mike Rowe's podcast and he hasn't put it out yet. I think he's saving me for sweeps or whatever. As a matter of fact, I've been listening every week to see who's more important than me. And today it was Jason Alexander. So I'm like, all right, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So Mike Rowe, who's also seen the movie like you have, uh, when I mentioned that to him, he was like, "Wait, hang on. Did you send me the whole? Yeah, I saw the whole movie, right?" It's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't use any language whatsoever." And I was like, "Nope."
No,
And
there's
he
no side boob or nothing.
Nothing. I show a little side boob, but it's hairy and it's Italian.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Old man side
And,
boob.
and he was like, "Oh, were you smoking?" And it's like, no, no. It's like they couldn't say some violence, smoking, some language. He goes, "No language, no sex, no smoking. No, you didn't have a beverage in your hand, did you?" No, no. But they made me put a PG-13 on it, so that means I'm getting close to the quick, as they like to say. You know.
So did they make you think they made you do that um just to limit how many people are actually able to see it? You think
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
what do you think is the thinking behind it?
I don't know. They didn't put me under health documentaries. They put me under special interest. They've done everything they could to hide you. Back in the days of newspapers, like if someone like a politician got in trouble, they would
Mhm.
get their press people to come and say, "Hey, bury the story," meaning bury it on page 8 of the newspaper where
Yeah.
no one's going to ever get to it, right? And they're burying that documentary over at Amazon, which is crazy. But it makes me realize that, oh wait, I obviously said something that pissed someone off,
Mhm.
right? Which is what I do.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you lay it on the line. And in all the documentaries, you kind of lay it on the line. A lot of people, probably say that, oh, he's just saying this shit to get the press, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, you're spot on in everything that you're talking about. And I mean, like one of the things you talk about in the movie is how the FDA, they allow all these things to be in there, even though it's supposed to be no sugar added or not sugar. And like you see all these things from like Europe and you look at the ingredient list and it's like 4 things. Then you look at the same thing as it is here in the United States and it's just a laundry list of everything that you can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you think is there big money behind that, or what is going on with that you think?
Yeah. Big corporations, they don't want someone, going, I'm kind of like, Scooby Doo,
Mhm.
it's like everything was working fine until these crazy kids came along.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens with me. Everything is going good and fine. And then here comes this idiot going, "Hey guys, here's what they're actually doing to you." And by the way, I've been disrupting like that. I had a radio show called Talking Fitness in New Orleans back in the late 80s. And I was talking about a lot of the stuff back then. And everybody just thought, "Oh, he needs a tinfoil hat." But
Yeah.
now the internet is much bigger than a local AM radio show, you know? Um, and when you start making waves, they come to get you, right? You are not.
Yeah.
And look, I sit in my basement and do these podcasts and everything else. And I'm always thinking that no one knows who I am and this kind of thing. But as it turns out, people start figuring out who, I mean, when I walk through airports now, I'm shocked at the number of people because of the documentaries. No one saw me when I was just doing podcasts, but
Right.
Fat, a documentary, the first one, which is the number one movie Gravitas has ever put out, not the number one documentary, the number one movie. So, I always go, now I'm airport famous, right? Where
Yeah.
people, I get recognized in airports around the country. And that's when you're causing a problem. When people know who you are, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and I think that's happened to me to some degree. And a lot of it has to do, like when I order coffee, when I've been on Corolla show 100 times, I think 98 to be exact. Um,
Wow, it
so
has been that many. Yeah.
yeah, so I have a quirky sounding voice, right? So when I'm ordering a Starbucks, I want to go, "Oh my God, you're the Adam Carolla guy," which is kind of nuts that they would remember that. Um, and Mike Rowe is now having me on for a third time.
Mhm.
So when you start doing these mega podcasts over and over and over, and these people keep asking you to come back on, it becomes, like, now they're going, oh, we can't control them anymore. It's okay when they can shadow ban me on throttle me back on YouTube and on Instagram. We know that they're doing that to me because we can see the back end and we can see what they're doing to me. But if I keep busting out of that and putting up these documentaries, then they go, okay, now what do we do? How do we handle this guy now? Right. And that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because it's important information. It really is. And, I try to spread the word as much as I can. Obviously, I don't live it like I should be living it, but I, I'm weak-willed. What can I say?
But you know what, Izzy? Let me stop you right there, because it's guys like you. You have more of a rock and roll persona, right? And that's who pays attention to you and in your corner of the world. But you're willing to go, oh, wait, let me get this guy on, right? So now that brings me to a whole different audience. I'm now seeing your guys who would never know my name without you. So I applaud guys like you who go, you know what, I'm going to break from having, the 80s hairband, girl that did a split on the car, even though she's dead now. So good luck getting her on.
Yeah.
I think that was Tawny Katane.
Tawny Katane, yes.
Yeah. You know what? I met her a couple of times. She was always nice, but everyone said, oh my God, she's nuts and she's crazy. And you hear all these stories. And people ask me, I was like, she was nice to me.
Yeah.
That's
Same with Bobby Brown. She was great to me the few times that I had her on,
I still haven't. Is she still alive?
Yes.
Oh, I still haven't met Bobby Brown.
She's sober now too.
That's, you know what? More power to her. Has it been a long time, or is she newly sober?
I think it's been a couple years. It's been a couple years. She kind of disappeared for a little while. She went home to Louisiana. She got her shit together. She's sober. She posts a lot of Bible stuff now.
Good for her, man.
Yeah.
She's still my cherry pie.
Oh yeah.
She's everybody's cherry pie.
But dude, it's Vinny, it's so funny. You talk about how, you get recognized by your voice and, because of Corolla and all that stuff. And Ricky Rackman was just on the Corolla show a couple months ago. And I was talking to Ricky, and he said, it's so weird. It's like all the things that I've done and all, the TV show on Axis and yada, yada, yada. I've had more people come up to me and say, dude, great job on Corolla.
Yeah.
And nobody recognized me from the other shit.
It's really kind of strange, right? Like, I've been on national, well, when I was on Oprah, people remember that a lot, but, I was on, national shows with Howie Mandel, like, Access Hollywood type shows and this and that. And no one really said, you might get one guy that day go, oh my God, I saw you earlier today on the thing, and, that's weird, but yeah, Corolla is up there. It's up there. Well, when they started putting my movies on free access, like on Tubi and some of these, I still get paid for those, but more people have the free stuff than the paid stuff.
Right.
And when you end up on the Tubis and the YouTube TVs and everywhere else, and that's when the chick at the checkout counter will go at the grocery store, oh my God, I just saw you. My husband and I saw you last night, But yeah, I would have to say Corolla is still the number one thing I get. Right.
Yeah.
And according to Geo, I'm like number 4, number 5 all time, guest, like I'm ebbing on 100. Right. And not many people have done that on that show.
No, it's pretty remarkable. And it says something about what you bring to it too. I mean, you're likable and you know what the fuck you're talking about. So the movie Dirty Keto, see how I brought that back?
Thank you.
What they call a pro. When did you decide that this is the next one that you wanted to do? Were you planning on doing another movie?
No, I never plan on doing another movie. But Dirty Keto was, I do consults every day. right? And the only reason I do consults is so that I can keep my ear to the ground and hear what's going on. And most of the people I talk to are plus 300 pounds. Some of them as
Yeah.
many as 600, 650 pounds. And these are the people I'm working with now. And they'll lose 100 pounds and then they'll stop and this kind of thing. I started seeing this trend over and over. And I'll say, well, are you still in dietary ketosis? Well, I'm having trouble staying in, but I'm keto. I'm only eating, keto. I'm only eating low carb keto foods. And I'll say, like what? And it was, oh, well, my wife started bringing this keto ice cream into the house. Okay, that's an oxymoron. And, we have this keto bread and keto bagels and keto. And I'll go, well, wait a minute. None of that stuff is keto, but it says certified keto right here. Certified. So I would jot down everything while I was on the phone with them. And when I get off, I would just go look up the products. And it's like, oh shit, there's a whole industry around this now. And I started noticing this 3 or 4 years ago, right? So it takes a long time to go from this is a good subject to actually getting there, right? Because you got to write it and you have to do all the things, right? And as you may or may not know, Mike Rose said to me, he goes, man, you read off of a teleprompter, you make it look so natural. And I said to him, yeah, that's because there's no teleprompter.
Yeah.
And he goes, but wait, you're just talking off the cuff? And I went, yeah, I have an idea of what I want to say. And then I just say it, right? I know my subject. By the time I sit down with the cameraman and cut and go, I know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I'll have, like a piece of paper like this with, just A, B, C, and D, or just, bullet points. Yeah, same sort of deal. And that's what I do. And I could just talk extemporaneously on that. And of course, you edit things down, but it all takes a long time. So I probably started thinking about it 4 years ago while I was actually doing Beyond Impossible. I was already working on Dirty Keto. That's how they keep coming out so fast. I'm finishing up one and the other one's already in the planning stage.
It's so funny you talk about all these keto products, and it's the same. They'll slap vegan on anything. They'll slap keto on anything, just to sell it. And I've tried the keto bread. It tastes like fucking cardboard.
Really?
It's not good. It's not good, and it's just amazing how people just say, oh, it says it, so I have to buy it.
It's not good. And you're still getting nothing but carbs, right?
Right. Well, so Vinny, no, you talk about that. How do they hide it? How do they? Because they obviously sell it as keto, like low carb, low, no sugar added, low sugar. How do they hide it in there where you're actually still getting it?
They just out of whole cloth, and this is what industry can do. They decided on their own. There's no doctor, there's no study, there's no scientific research. They just came up with a term, net carbs. I remember, I'm on the ground doing this stuff all the time, and I remember the first time I heard the term net carbs. I was like, net of what? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's net carbs, net for carbs. And I'm like, but what's subtracting the carbs? And they went, oh, fiber. So you can subtract the fiber from total carbs. So if something has 15 grams of carbohydrate, but 10 grams of fiber, magically they're telling you that you can, just pull out 10 grams and you're at net carbs of 5. The other thing they do is they'll tell you it's got 0 sugar and you'll look and it's as sweet as eating, a Snickers bar. It's like, well, how did you get to 0? Well, you could put up to X amount of sugar in a product and still say it's 0, plus or minus of 2%. So that's why you'll notice sugar on a product of, I don't know, up to 10 different sugars, but it's all 2% to get you to, 15 or 20 grams of sugar, and you're still putting 0. And some companies even if you use stevia or erythritol, they'll say, okay, we can subtract that from total sugar too. It's all made up out of whole cloth because anything under nutrition facts, really, they're not facts, right?
Okay.
You're allowed to lie under something called nutrition facts. The only place where the truth is on the other side under ingredients, because by law, you have to tell someone what they're putting in their body,
Right.
right? Otherwise, you can have rat crap in a product or whatever. I don't, so they have to tell you exactly what's going in, but no one really understands that. They look at the big shiny graft over here that says nutrition facts, and no one reads the ingredients, and that's where the truth is.
So, like, take for instance, I'm drinking this 0 calories, caffeine free, sugar free seltzer.
Okay.
And it's basically, I don't know if seltzer is just the new word now for like whatever La Croche water is.
Yeah.
What is your take on the stuff like this? I mean, are they burying shit in here?
You're going to see somewhere written on there natural flavors. Is
Mhm.
it the word nat? All right. So,
Yeah, hold on.
all right. So if you get your glasses on,
Oh, I got the glasses on. I just need light.
okay, let's get the nutrition facts first.
All right. So ingredients: carbonated water, natural flavors.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the places they can hide, proprietary, they can hide sugar under
Yeah.
natural.
Okay. So if I go down the nutrition facts, calories 0,
Mhm.
total fat 0, sodium 0, carbohydrates 0, total sugars 0, protein 0, calcium 10 milligrams.
Does it taste like a LaCroix type drink?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's the deal. If I'm being perfectly honest with you on that product, if you were on a CGM, continuous glucose monitor, and you drank that,
Mhm.
your blood sugar won't change at all, which means that it's not really causing an effect. But just for saying, I'm never a fan of natural flavors.
Right.
We don't know what they can hide in that. But if you're trying to lose weight and that's the methadone clinic of you getting off of sodas, I would rather see you drink that, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah. I mean, look, I had a can of Coke today, but I don't have a can of Coke every day. It was just, you know what? I'm having a burger and fries. A Coke sounds delicious. But what's in
Right.
my fridge? This stuff. You know?
Right. And look, Izzy, I said before the mics went hot, you look like you look better. You look like you've lost weight. You're looking healthier. Maybe it's because you got out of California.
That could
Maybe
be.
it's because it's better sun out in the desert where you are now. I don't know. But you look a lot better. So I would say keep going.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, so what about stuff? And I mean, we'll get back onto some of the stuff in the movie too, but I do Instacart. So I'm grocery shopping for people, and so I'm in the grocery all fucking day and I see the shit that people are buying.
Right.
And I always see like the oat milk and the plant milk and all this stuff. And now and correct me if I'm wrong, but this stuff is just basically oils, right? Is that what's going on with these things?
Some of it is there's some seed oil and some of that stuff, but basically what they're doing, if you look at all the ingredients on oat milk, you're not getting oats at all. And by the way, oats aren't healthy for you. I used to go to the food shows where, if you're a vendor, you actually pay like $8,000 or $10,000 to get in as a vendor, and you're able to see all of the stuff that's coming out. And all of that kind of stuff is always like milk reimagined. It's like everything is reimagined, right?
Right.
Oat milk reimagined, ice cream reimagined. Um, Everything is made of either oat or almonds or sometimes hemp seeds and this kind of thing.
Mhm.
So there are two or three things that they can kind of make look like milk. So people will say to me, well, Vin, why are they making this? And it's like, well, because vegans need something to put on their cereal, right? What do you want to put, orange juice or apple juice? So they started making something that resembled milk for vegans. And I got news for you. You want to be a vegan, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But if you're going to wake up in the morning and put food that should be fed to a cow or a pig, meaning an oat, and then put a bastardized product on that bastardized product, you're starting your day with a body full of inflammation, right? And you see it, people that are long-term vegans, they just don't look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, look, I think like you always say, the, when it comes to being vegan, or it comes to, like, or as I call it, meatgan, where you only eat meat, it's like you're cutting out all the processed shit. But
Right.
then there gets to be a point where you have to have other stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me when they first go vegan, they feel better. And that's exactly right, Izzy. They're cutting out the processed crap. So they feel better. And then after like 10 or 12 days pass, they start chasing the high of feeling better. They don't feel better anymore.
Mhm.
So they'll go, oh, well, wait a minute. I should have more fruit juice. So now they're pumping more sugar in their body. And when you start pumping more sugar in your body starts releasing ghrelin and leptin and cortisol and all of this stuff. And you start becoming resistant to it, right? And then what happens next is even more insidious. You go, well, now I'm hungry all the time. So what do I have to, I'm a vegan. I need to eat something vegan-ish. And you can only eat so much broccoli and cauliflower and everything else. So they'll go, oh, wait, this pasta can fill me up, or this rice can fill me up, or all this corn. And they start going down that road, right? So now you have more inflammation and more problems. So instead of just going, wait, maybe I should have a staple that my body wants, a piece of meat or fish or chicken or, whatever it is, they just keep doubling down on a bad idea until they decide not to.
Right. Yeah, it's like, even, when I was doing, NSNG years ago, or as that they called it, low carb, high fat. It's like, it's exactly it. It's like, you see how far you can push it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, this beer cheese soup looks like it's good. There's no bun on it, so I guess I'm good, right? You know, you talk about, in the movie, you do start talking about how keto is not a diet. Can
Right.
you explain that to people who might not understand that?
Yeah. Keto came out of ketogenic, which is not to be confused with ketoacidosis. And, I'm one of the guys that brought the modern day version of keto to the internet. By no means did I invent this. That, there were, back, Banting in the late 1800s, mid 1800s, wrote the letter on corpulence.
Mhm.
So we knew about it back then. And we knew about it going through the 1920s. Otto Warburg used low carb ketogenic diets to fight cancer. And we knew it to be the only thing that would stop seizures. So there was nothing new about keto. The modern forefather of keto was Robert Atkins,
Mhm.
who fell upon it from a couple of clients who found the old letters on corpulence and tried it in the early 1970s. And he saw what was happening. So he started studying it, and he became, Atkins, which then became the Atkins diet, which is now bastardized because he
Right.
died, the family sold it, and on we go. Um, but then there were people like Dr. Finney and Dr. Volek that came along, and that's when I got, I was paying attention to Robert Atkins because I was getting people to lose weight, low carb. And
Mhm.
then I started reading more about Finney and Volek, and this is kind of before the internet existed.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, computers were around, but people were still, it's like data driven stuff and all that. Guys like me had to go to libraries and use microfiche and figure it all out. But Finney and Volek were writing some articles, and some of these other guys, and Robert Atkins was there, and then people like my buddy Gary Taubes wrote a book called Good Calorie, Bad Calorie,
Mhm.
which is one of the best books, but it was so boring to read that he ended up writing a second book called Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It, which was a Reader's Digest version of the first book.
Mhm.
And I think my book came, mine was more of the sing-songy. Have you ever read Fitness Confidential?
I have not.
My book was even, my book told a story.
Mhm.
it told the story of my life and where I came from and how, I went to Hollywood and became this guy that got all these people to lose weight by doing this crazy thing
Mm-hmm.
of low carb, right? And it's in a book. It's in book form. So people started, they're listening to Gary, they're reading me, and now they're going, huh, there's a couple of guys talking about this, and my podcast was already out there. And of course, I started bringing Gary Taubes on the podcast.
Right.
And other people like Wheat Belly, William Davis and Perlmutter, Grain Brain, and some of these other people. And then probably the best book written on it early on, besides me and Gary and all this, was probably Nina Teicholz, who wrote Why We Big Fat Surprise. And so we were all there at the beginning, right? And she started coming. She and I are very close now. We're good friends. She started coming on the show. And so we were all kind of like the new version of this, right? And when my show got popular, long before I met Carolla, we're talking 2010, 11, people like Dr. Eric Westman, who wrote the new Atkins for the New Age or whatever it was called. All of these people were, clamoring to get on the show and talk about it. So we had this show where we were curating all this information with all the top doctors, Robert Lustig. I mean, the fact that these people were talking to me it's like, why me? I was like, oh, because I'm the only guy that turned on a mic and said, would you come talk to me? Right. So, and that's kind of how it went. But that, did I answer the question or did I go off on some tangent?
You went off on a tangent.
Oh, sorry. What was the question again?
Explain why keto is not a diet.
Oh, wow. I didn't, you're right. I meant to go there and I went off into left field because ketogenic is just a way of eating. I mean, people go, I'm on the keto diet and I'm like, what diet is that? Right.
Yeah.
Give me the constraints of the diet. Well, anything that's low carb will be ketogenic. I call it NSNG, no sugars, no grains.
Right.
Other people call it carnivore. Some people call it the lion diet. Some people barely eat any meat, but they eat a lot of coconut oil and olive oil and avocados and olives and cheese and eggs. And we all get the same result, right?
Yeah.
So how do you call that a diet? A diet, a diet in the sense of I'm on the keto diet. Where's that diet? Who's come up with that diet?
So would you say a diet is something that is written out where this is exactly what you have to eat?
The definition of a diet is what any indigenous group of people eat. That's the pure definition, but we've stolen the word to say I'm on a particular diet. We leave out the word particular, right? People go, I'm on a diet. We know what that means, right? Like if you want to be an asshole, you can go, oh, you're on a diet. A Vietnamese diet, a Mexican diet. Which group are you eating like, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So, the pure word diet means what an indigenous group of people will eat. But we've turned it into something that we're on. And I don't know how keto can be in that category because it can be so many different things.
Right.
I know people who do it from a vegan standpoint. It's difficult, but they do it.
Oh, I can imagine.
I don't know how many avocados I can eat and how many coconuts I can eat. And, but that's what they do.
Yeah. You've done a lot of these movies, and do you learn stuff while you're making these movies? And did you learn anything about keto as you were making this movie?
One of the things I learned, and the truth is stranger than fiction, I started seeing certified keto everywhere. And you saw that in the movie, right?
Yeah. Actually, I have keto certified written down here.
Yeah. So we're going to get to it right now. But I was, it's like one day I was like going through all the stuff and I was like, who's certifying this? Is this a government agency? So I was like, let me look into it. So I went I went to the group, and it's like, yeah, you could just pay this money, and if you want to sell a bowl of sugar and call it certified keto, they don't care. And they'll sell you for like $5,000. You can go get the stamp of approval. It would help if you put some fiber in your bowl of sugar, because then you can subtract the fiber from the total amount. But
Right.
yeah, they'll just sell you the thing. And I was like, well, who are these people? Like Seinfeld, who are these people? Yeah. So I was like looking around to figure out who they are. And I had their names in the movie originally and their
Yeah,
phone.
but you blurred them out.
My attorney made me do that. He goes, yeah, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. But just to give your audience an idea, I say in the movie, look, I can't say the names and I can't show you their photos, but one's a cage fighter, one's like a music exec or agent, and one is like a car salesman. It was just a bunch of friends who got together and bought the term, which is brilliant, bought the term keto certified, and they're out there certifying people.
They've got to be making a ton of money off of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of certified stuff out there, and
And did
and
you look in to see how much it costs to be keto certified to
yeah,
put
I
that?
think it was like $5,000 or
Oh,
something
Jesus
per
Christ.
item. Yeah, it wasn't cheap. Yeah,
So they're basically making free money.
yeah, yeah.
Good for them.
They're no different. Remember when Corolla was being sued because someone had the podcast?
Oh yeah, the patent trolls.
Yeah, this is kind of like that. It's like, hey, we created this thing out of whole cloth. You want to be part of it? You know, and it's the truth is stranger than fiction, right? But that's something I wasn't going to go down that path at all. I also learned from Dr. Ben Bigman, and someone jumped on me on the internet. It's like, hey, I really loved your movie, but that was a hit piece on GLP-1s, like the Wegovy and the Ozempic and the whole thing. It's not a hit piece. It's a very intelligent doctor telling you, hey, look, you take this, you will lose weight, but A, B, C, and D is going to happen, including your body will make more fat cells, which it generally doesn't do.
Okay.
But your body, you might be shrinking some fat cells, but your body will generate more fat cells. That's not a hit piece. These are facts, folks. You say it's a hit piece. I get it. GLP-1s are helping a lot of people who couldn't lose a lot of weight for a long time magically lose weight, but they're not looking at the bad side of what might happen. Right. So
Well,
I'll learn that too with the audience.
how is it different for people that actually are diabetic? Like I have a good friend that is on Ozempic, but he is diabetic.
It screws them up in different ways. I have a brother on those drugs too, because he's diabetic. So you could see, like, I could have put this in a movie, but I was trying to keep it to an hour, and I didn't want to go down. It was called Dirty Keto. I didn't want to go down an Ozempic
Yeah.
thing. I can do a whole new I could do a whole new, thing on Ozempic, and really become the most hated man on the planet. But when you watch an Ozempic commercial, and I watch them close, like I don't see commercials until football season comes around.
Yeah.
Then they're commercials, right? So there's one, Ozempic, from the song. And there's another one, Jardiance. And they always have people who are heavy set folks dancing around on a bus and this and that going, we can eat all the ice cream we want. We bring on the donuts. I just need to take this and it's going to get my A1Cs under control, because for your audience, an A1C of 5.6 means that you're now diabetic, right? So at 5.5, you're pre-diabetic. If you're anywhere like 5.1, you're okay. It's better to be at like 4.7, 4.8 A1Cs. And A1Cs is an average of your blood levels over the course of 3 months, right? That's what an A1C is. So they will tell you in the commercial, take this drug and you could get your A1Cs down as low as 7.5. Okay. Now let's suss that out a little bit. You have type 2 diabetes. you're taking a drug for type 2 diabetes. And when you take the drug, you're at 7.5, not 5.5, where you need to be. So they're saying in the commercial, take our drug and you will still be perfectly sick. Does that make sense on any level? And by the way, people will say, well, Vinny, my doctor says I'm going to be type 2 diabetic for the rest of my life. I beg to differ. I have thousands of people who were A1Cs of 12 and 13, who had limbs cut off, who were over 600 pounds, who are now below 5.6 and off of all medication. So I don't want to hear that it can't be done. You can do it with diet. The one way you can't do it is with that drug, because the drug will never get you that low. Unless you were right at 5.6, it'll drop you down. But if you're at like 7 or 8 or 9, it might drop you as low as 7, 7.5, and that's about it. So you're taking a drug with side effects and you're still perfectly sick. You're making yourself, in essence, sicker.
Well, it's very important information, and I know you gotta wrap up because you have another show to do. I'm
I
gonna
do.
hit my outro music here really quick. And Vinny, I tell you what, once again, thank you for coming back on the show. And so we'll see you in a couple years when you're doing your Ozempic documentary. And I expect a text tomorrow. Throwback to Days of Our Lives. The movie is called Dirty Keto. You can get it on Amazon. Is it available anywhere else right now, or just on Amazon?
Just on Amazon. We wanted to make a big splash there, and then later on, we'll try to get it on other platforms around the world so that people can see it in third world countries and everywhere, just like my other documentaries.
Of course, as well as everybody should go out and watch this movie. If you have the chance, if you have the Amazon, order something on Amazon and get your free Amazon Prime so you can watch it. Anything you can do, watch it, and watch the rest of his movies. Fat 2, which you should have called Fatter, but that's just me. And of course the vegan one you did, I can't remember the name of it.
Beyond Impossible.
Beyond Impossible. Yeah, about the Impossible Burgers. Thank you so much. Check out his podcast, Fitness Confidential. I randomly turned it on. He was talking about how me and Dawson were drunk one day when I was dropping him off for the show. That was a great story, even though
such rock
we
and
were
rollers,
not.
man.
I've
always, can I just say this real quickly?
Please.
I got 10 minutes to be on my next podcast.
All right, let it go, baby.
You guys are such rock and rollers. And, I've always wanted to be like, I want to come back on your show when we have time and just talk about you guys and rock and roll and,
have us on your
music.
show. Have us on your show.
People go, what are they doing here? Why are they doing this?
The Saturday show, baby.
I don't do it anymore. I just do 3 shows. I have the Saturday show back. But yeah, you guys, I was at the Corolla show and all of a sudden a Prius pulled up and Mike Dawson pretty much fell out of the passenger seat and got up and got his composure, and he goes, maintain. And you were like, hey, Vinny. And I looked and said, oh my God, it's Izzy. And I'm like looking at it going, these guys have been, it's 2 p.m. They partied all night and now they're partying. Yeah. You know that song, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. You guys are living it. Right. And I was like looking at that going, I just want 1 week of being those guys in my life and just do what they're doing.
Yeah, but you realize that there was a Del Taco stop on the way, because Dawson was walking in with his Del Taco bags. I'm like, I see you're there. I'm like, great day to do that, brother. Yeah. Great day.
But you guys are so rock and roll, and I love it to death. I love both of you. So don't ever stop.
We love you too. We love you too. And of course, you guys can also check out his website, VinnieTortorich.com. That is with the Y. Not the wimpy Y, the IE. IE, not the wimpy Y. Sorry, I was having a brain fart at the moment. Oh my God. Check him out, Vinnie Tortorich. Check out the movie Dirty Keto. Thank you again, Vinny, and we will talk to you soon. I tried to I'm sorry. I tried to do this at the end of the interview, and he still had a couple minutes left, so he kind of cut off my outro, which is fine. So I'm doing it right now. Thank you, Vinnie Tortorich. Always great to see you. Of course, the movie is Dirty Keto, and that is exclusively on Amazon as we speak. I hope you go and watch it. I hope you let me know what you thought. And I will hopefully see you next week with another show. Of course, next week I do have the Mountain Music Festival, and that is going to be a glorious, glorious, glorious time. And you'll find out if I had to go to jury duty or not. I find out Thursday morning. But let's just say somebody told me how to get out of it. And it's legit. It's not a goof. If you are in Vegas this weekend, Friday night, Count's Vamped. Danny the Count Coker and his band Count 77 doing a tribute to the King, because it is Elvis week, baby. We will see you hopefully next week. My name is Izzy Presley. What I lack in talent, make up for in the cock.